So in your finance courses, you are becoming absolute masters at managing the finances of a huge corporation. But today, we're going to take all that skill, all that mastery, and apply it to the single most important company you will ever run, yourself. We're going way beyond corporate finance to build a real framework for your own financial life.
Think about it. You've got the chops to tear apart a complex corporate balance sheet. You can model cash flows for a decade out. You can value an entire company. But the real question is, can you turn that same sharp, analytical mind inward? Can you apply that same rigor to building your own wealth, to managing you incorporated?
And here's the key. You've got to stop seeing your personal financial statements as just, boring records of what already happened. Let's reframe them. Let's see them as a strategic roadmap, a journey with 3 distinct levels of mastery that takes you from just getting by all the way to true financial freedom.
This table basically maps out the whole progression. Level 1, that's your cash flow. It's all about cash in versus cash out. Honestly, this is where most people live their entire lives. Level 2, that's when you start thinking about your income statement, building a real surplus for security. But level 3, that's the balance sheet. That's the big leagues. It's where you manage your enterprise value, strategically using assets and debts to grow your net worth. It's where freedom lives, and frankly, very few people get there.
So let's start at the foundation, level 1. This is all about finding financial peace. And let's be clear, this is not about getting rich. It's about getting stable. It's about eliminating that constant low-grade financial stress that makes it impossible to think about the long term.
Your personal cash flow statement, it's the ultimate gut check. Forget accruals, forget non-cash expenses, forget all that complex stuff. This is pure, simple liquidity. At the end of the month, is there more money coming in than going out? If the answer is yes, you've stabilized the company. You've hit the first and most critical milestone. You're making ends meet.
Okay, so once you have that peace, once you're stable, now it's time to build security. This is where the whole mindset shifts. You're not just playing defense anymore, just trying to survive. Now you're playing offense. You're actively building a capital surplus for your future.
And your personal income statement is the tool for that. This is not some academic exercise. The bottom line on that statement, your net income, that's the engine of wealth creation. That surplus, which we just call savings, that is the raw material, the capital, that you are going to put to work for future growth.
And this quote from Morgan Housel just nails a huge behavioral challenge, right? We see wealth as the flashy stuff, the nice cars, the expensive watches. But true wealth, real wealth, is what you don't see. It's the money that wasn't spent. It's the financial assets that you bought instead of that depreciating car. It's the capital that's quietly working for you in the background.
So, how do we actually do this? We have to get systematic. Don't leave your savings up to willpower, because that never works. Step 1 is simple. Figure out how much you can realistically save each month. Step 2, and this is the magic bullet, make it automatic. Pay yourself first, before you can spend it. And step 3, give every single dollar a job. Is it for your emergency fund, your down payment, retirement? Name it.
And that brings us to the top of the pyramid. Level 3, financial freedom. This is where you graduate. You're no longer just managing monthly flows, you're managing your entire capital structure. You are now the chief financial officer of your own balance sheet, and you have one primary goal: grow your net worth.
You know the equation. It's simple, right? Assets minus liabilities equals net worth. But managing it, that's the strategic game. Your goal is to make the asset column grow and grow faster than the liability column. From here on out, every single financial decision you make should be run through one filter. How is this going to impact my net worth in the long run?
And a huge part of that is managing the liability side and understanding leverage. There's bad debt, which is like a wealth-destroying machine. We're talking high-interest credit cards, car loans. It just funds consumption and vanishes. But then there's good debt. Used carefully, this is a powerful tool. It's using other people's money to buy assets that can actually grow in value, like a house, an education, or a business.
Okay, so once you're firing on all 3 cylinders, your job basically splits in 2. You have to play offense, which means growing your assets, and you have to play defense, which means protecting everything you've worked so hard to build. Let's start with offense.
And it's a totally fair question. I mean, if you're saving a good chunk of your income, isn't that enough? Why do you have to introduce all this market risk? And the answer comes down to one silent, relentless force that is eating away at your money every single day: inflation. If you're only saving, you are losing. You're losing purchasing power, guaranteed.
Let's make this real. Let's take a simple $5 coffee today.
At a really mild, kind of best-case scenario of 1% inflation, in 40 years, that coffee is going to cost you over $7.
Okay, but what about at a more historically normal 3%? Well, now that same coffee costs you more than $16. See where this is going?
And what if inflation runs a little hot? Say 6%, which we've definitely seen before. That same $5 cup of coffee now costs over $50. 51. That is the silent thief that will absolutely destroy your savings. The only way to fight back is to make sure your money is growing faster than it's being devalued. And that means you have to invest.
Now for defense. This isn't just about the stock market. It's about protecting yourself from life. You use insurance as a shield. Health and disability insurance, that protects your single biggest asset, your ability to earn an income. Other policies protect your family, your stuff like your house and car. And finally, wills and trusts protect your legacy. It's pointless to build a castle if you don't secure the perimeter.
So how do we pull this all together into something simple and actionable? Well, NYU professor Scott Galloway has this brilliant framework he calls the algebra of wealth. It boils everything down to a powerful 4-part formula.
And let's connect this right back to our framework. Focus. That's about maximizing your income, right? That's the fuel for level 1. Stoicism, living below your means. That is literally how you master level 2. It's how you create that all-important savings surplus. Time is the magic ingredient for level 3, letting compound interest do all the heavy lifting for you. And diversification, that's your primary defensive strategy. It's risk management 101.
So there it is. We've laid out the framework, moving from peace to security to real freedom. We've talked about playing offense and defense, and we boiled it all down into a simple 4-part formula. You already have the advanced analytical tools from your coursework. The only question left is, what are you going to build for yourself with them?